I work in a clothing store, which means there's no food allowed, which means I spend a lot of a solid 8-hour day watching the rest of the world eat. And what I can tell you is nobody stops. Every single person who walks past that window is holding something. A drink the size of a toddler, a wrapper, a bag, something actively going into their mouth while they walk, while they push a stroller, while they're on their phone, while they're doing literally anything else. And I'm standing there thinking, when did we all just agree to this? I'm Debbie, a holistic nutritionist, 15 years in. What that means is I look at the whole person, body, mind, and spirit, not just one isolated piece of the puzzle. And one of the biggest whole person patterns I've watched develop over the last 15 years is that people have stopped eating in ways that make their bodies feel safe, nourished, and regulated. We eat constantly. We're drinking our calories. We eat while we're distracted, stressed, driving. We snack between meals, and we snack between snacks. Between sips of a 700-calorie drink, we've filed mentally under beverage. And most people have absolutely no idea what it's doing to their digestive system, their hormones, their blood sugar, their energy, and their mood. So let's talk about it today. Here's something that genuinely fascinates me. Cars in the 80s and earlier did not have cup holders, not as a standard feature, because the assumption, the perfectly reasonable assumption at the time, was that you would finish your drink before getting into the car. Eating and drinking while driving wasn't designed for, and it wasn't expected. It wasn't normal. And now we have vehicles with 8 cup holders, a snack compartment, and a drive-through engineered into every corner of every fucking strip mall in North America. And I want to be clear, this is a North American thing. If you go to Europe, you walk around Italy, France, Spain, people are not wandering the streets with a big gulp and a bag of chips in their hands. They're not eating in their cars. They sit down, they eat an actual meal, they stop eating, and then they go about their day. Tourists are the ones eating while walking. The locals, they clock them instantly. This didn't happen by accident. The cup holders, the drive-thrus, the snack displays at every single checkout, these were deliberate design decisions made by an industry that profits from you consuming continuously. And we've just normalized it so gradually that most of us have stopped seeing it. And here's the thing, your body never got the memo about that. It was not built for constant food stimulation, especially not the hyper-palatable, ultra-processed, engineered by actual food scientists shit that is specifically designed so you cannot stop eating. When you graze all day, especially on refined carbs, liquid sugar, and snack foods, your blood sugar never gets a chance to stabilize. It spikes, it crashes, insulin is being pumped out constantly, cortisol gets dragged into the menagerie, and cortisol gets dragged in to manage the crashes, and your hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, the ones responsible for telling you when you're hungry and when you've had enough, they are so dysregulated that they basically stop giving you any reliable information. So everything starts feeling like hunger. Boredom feels like hunger. Stress feels like hunger. Driving past a Tim Hortons feels like hunger. That weird 3 p.m. flatness feels like hunger. And people come to me genuinely baffled. Why am I hungry an hour after eating? Why do I finish a full meal and immediately want something sweet? Why am I snacking constantly but never actually satisfied? And I want you to know this is not a willpower problem. This is a physiological consequence of an environment that was specifically designed to produce exactly this response in you. I need to talk about the drinks because people are walking around with beverages that contain more sugar than a dessert and more calories than a full lunch. And they have mentally filed them under, I just need a drink, or I just had a drink, not food, a drink. And because liquid calories digest fast and don't trigger the same fullness signals as actual food with fiber and protein, your blood sugar spikes, crashes, and an hour later, your body is screaming for a snack. And then people genuinely wonder why they can't stop eating. Water. Water is a beverage. Herbal tea, that's also a beverage. Black coffee, a beverage. A 700-calorie bubble tea or a fancy blended coffee station situation is a meal that your brain doesn't register as a meal. And that gap between what you consumed and what your body thinks it's gotten is a huge part of why people feel like they're eating all the time and never feel full. Even when people do sit down to actually eat a meal, they're usually doing 4 other things simultaneously. They're scrolling, they're watching something stressful, answering messages, mentally running through everything they haven't done yet. Here's what most people don't connect to their digestive system. Your body digests best in a calm, parasympathetic state. Rest and digest, literally. When you're stressed, distracted, or rushing, your body is not in full digestion mode. It produces fewer digestive enzymes, satiety signals get disrupted, you barely register whatever the hell you're eating, so your brain keeps searching for satisfaction that it didn't quite receive. Then you're bloated, still hungry, and wondering what the hell is wrong with your stomach. There's also the part that nobody wants to hear. Eating has become how we manage every uncomfortable feeling. Boredom, anxiety, that low-grade emotional flatness. We've been so thoroughly conditioned by our food environment to reach for something at the first hint of discomfort that a lot of people have genuinely lost the ability to just sit with a feeling for 30 seconds without feeding it. And this is where it comes back to food, because it always comes back to food. Real meals built around protein, fiber, and healthy fats are how your body actually regulates these systems. Protein and fiber together are probably the most powerful blood sugar stabilization combination available to you. They slow digestion down, keep you genuinely full, and reduce the wild swings that drive the constant snacking. When your body knows a real meal is coming at a reasonable interval, it stops the panic hunger, the grab and go, the hand in the snack bag before you even realized you opened it situation. And if you genuinely need something between meals, because sometimes you do, that's real. There is such a massive difference between a bag of ultra-processed crackers and something like homemade granola or just fruit with a handful of nuts. Real food, stuff that actually has something in it. If you want ideas for that, I'm happy to share some in the comments. Just ask and I will give you recipes or ideas. Happy to do so. Whole foods digest more slowly, provide micronutrients your cells actually need, and don't hijack your appetite signals the way that food engineered specifically to hijack your appetite signals do. Simple meals from real ingredients. A bowl of rice and beans, eggs with veggies, lentil soup, nothing fancy, nothing that requires a spreadsheet, just food that behaves like food inside your body. And water that is actually just water. We built a food culture where nobody is ever physiologically at rest. We snack constantly, sip constantly, consume constantly, and we've normalized it so completely that opting out feels weird. Eating an actual meal and then just not eating for a few hours, that feels fucking radical. But your body is not broken because it's struggling in this environment. It is responding exactly the way a human body responds when it's been overstimulated by an industry that profits from keeping you consuming. The exhaustion, constant hunger, cravings, the blood sugar crashes, these are not personal failures. They are predictable physiological responses to a system designed to produce them. A few more real meals, a little less continuous grazing, drinks that are actually just drinks, even occasionally putting the phone down long enough to taste what you're eating. Not perfection, just paying attention. Your body will notice it and it will respond faster than you think. For more no BS nutrition advice, follow along, and I'll see you in the next one.